Hello and welcome to our show Conversation with Priya. I'm your host Priya Mishra and today is my guest Dr. Jayakumar. Dr. Jayakumar is the Managing Director and CEO of Vizhinjam International Seaport Limited, implementing India's deep water container transshipment projects at Vizhinjam and Thiruvananthapuram, Kerala. He's also a member of Kerala Maritime Board. Prior to this, he was the CEO of Pondicherry Port and SCG Company Limited, which was relinquished after having 9 years recently. The government of Kerala has nominated him as the Principal Investigator for the proposed offshore wave energy project at Vizhinjam Coast. With 3 decades of experience in planning, design, and management of ports and harbour project in India and abroad, Dr. Jayakumar is topper of University in Kerala in Civil Engineering. So he passed his MTech from IIT Madras, and government of Kerala is various capacity and worked in the private sector and shoot at the national and international level. Jayakumar was selected by the United States Department of Commerce for a special American business internship program in part development experts held in Washington, USA in October 2015. Recipients of several awards, he had the stint as advisor technical in Westport, Malaysia, which is one of the most modern seaport in Asia, where he headed several projects, including the container transshipment terminal, and was part of Malaysian delegation to develop port in other countries. Jayakumar has been active member of various committee constitute at the state of the national level of port shipping, coastal protection and management, disaster management, and played a vital role in drafting the port and maritime infrastructure policy for the government of Kerala. He has, to his credit, numerous technical papers in national and international journal and conference proceeding, and visited several ports, harbour, and maritime facilities within India and abroad. So today, I would like you to help me to welcome Dr. Jayakumar in our show. Hello and welcome to my show, Conversation with Priya. Thank you so much for joining today and accepting my request.
Yes, good morning, Priya. Let me thank you for inviting me to this wonderful session. I'm very much delighted to interact with you right now.
Thank you. And so the question here is that I know you have a very long history in the industry you are into, and you have been a very consistent and persistent, and your contribution is amazing in this industry. How would you like to define your journey? How did you start it?
I think it's a very difficult question to answer. But I started, it's a coincidence, getting into the maritime sector. Because after my studies, my engineering graduation, I happened to get an opportunity to work in the Harbour Engineering Department of Kerala government. Mm-hmm. It's basically planning and designing small craft harbors for fishing activity,
right,
and small boat activity. So when I joined, initially I didn't have any affection towards any particular area. So when I joined this organization, I thought there are immense opportunities, and I started developing passion into this. And then I pursued my higher studies, acquiring my master's and PhD in the field of ocean engineering. And so I stuck to this particular field. And all the way through my journey, I'm in the maritime sector at various levels and at various positions and at various places. I landed up here to develop the Vizhinjam, which is at the southernmost tip of India, as a deep water transshipment terminal.
That's interesting, because I know you're so far in government industry was particularly involved in developing the port and all, and I recently we got the private sector involved in that. So in this whole Vizhinjam port is actually is located at the historical place. Beyond that importance, what will be the economic impact of this particular port?
Yeah, historically, Vizhinjam has been reputed as an international port of trade from the first century Christian era to the modern times.
Right.
However, our last 1 or 2 generations you take, they know Vizhinjam only as a fishing hamlet, which is 15 or hardly 15 kilometers away from Thiruvananthapuram, a city which is the capital of Kerala.
Right.
And excavations at Vizhinjam over the last few years have revealed its deep entrenchment in the maritime trade, especially with the Western world, and evidence of an unknown phase of Vizhinjam's history. Development of the Deepwater International Port, which is underway, Vizhinjam's twist with international maritime trade will gain significant momentum. That's what I see. And the economic impact, you talked about the economic impact, is quite immense. Because if you want to really look at the economic impact, you must understand that 75% of India's transshipment occurs at the neighboring ports like Colombo, Dubai, Singapore, Salalah, Portland, etc. 90% of the Indian tranship cargo happens at Colombo because we don't have a deep water port to serve as a transshipment terminal. So we need to depend, we are depending on neighboring ports, especially largely Colombo, because we don't have a, as I said, mentioned, deep water port very close proximity to the international shipping routes. And as a result, our country loses about 220 million US dollars by way of foreign exchange earnings, besides the additional container handling cost at the other transshipment ports. Therefore, India has of late realized that a transshipment port is required for the country, and the answer is Vizhinjam, beyond its historical importance. That is what.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of surprise that we have so many areas where we could have developed this whole deep water sea for a long time ago. I'm not sure why it was going so much towards the foreign influence on that, but amazing to see the growth you guys are doing and the work you are. I know Adani Group is actually involved in this project, and I know that historically they have done a many good job in many different areas. 95% of India's trading by volume and 70% by volume is done through maritime transport. Obviously, this sector has a huge potential. However, the question is, what are the strengths of Vizhinjam Port to capture a slice of this huge business?
Very nice question. See, primarily talking about the strength of Vizhinjam, it's the strategic location where Vizhinjam is. Right. Because look at India, Vizhinjam is at the bottom end of the funnel. V-shaped. We have a very long coastline of 7,517 kilometers, started 12 major ports and around 200 non-major ports.
Right.
Major and non-major doesn't signify the size of the port, but major ports are those which come under the government of India, and non-major ports come under the respective maritime state governments.
Right.
So if you look at the strength, first and foremost is the location, strategic location.
Right.
This location has the very important shipping lanes around the world, which I think transport 30% of the world's cargo.
Right, right.
The second thing is, these shipping lanes are just 10 nautical miles away, and you have large water depths very close to Vizhinjam coast. That is, nautical mile, you have 18 to 20 meters water depth. And Vizhinjam, as I mentioned earlier, it is located centrally along the coast. And another natural advantage is the minimal littoral drift, that is sand movement, unlike other locations. So as a result, you have very little maintenance dredging to carry on. So the expensive maintenance dredging is almost nil at this location. So these are the primary strengths as far as Vizhinjam is concerned.
Very, very interesting fact you brought it, because majority of the ports is struggling in terms of having a huge maintenance cost on that area, if I know correctly. And I also, so when you bring that concept that low maintenance, will it offer a more affordable and comparative price compared when it comes to the trading and shipping from the local businesses or any business across the India?
Certainly, this is one factor. Maintenance dredging costs are very minimal. But at the same time, this is a greenfield port and it's an artificial port. Because open course where you need to have basic infrastructure like the breakwater to provide a tranquil area for the craft to come inside or the vessels to come inside and do the cargo loading and unloading activities. So this breakwater, since it has to pass through very large water depths, it's a very, very expensive affair.
Mm.
And it's a Kerala, and especially this coastal area is landlocked.
Right.
So the location of the port facilities have to be on a reclaimed area. So here, reclamation costs are also high. So that means the initial capital cost for putting up a port at this location is high. As a result, it is not viable.
Right. Right.
So in the long run, you have to make it viable. And the government of India and government of Kerala has stepped in to provide viability gap funding to support the project. So that to make the project viable.
So you're suggesting whether maintenance cost is high or initial cost is high, it's viable. You can't claim on that pricing war on that sense, right?
Yes, pricing, you of course, because you need to compete with the neighboring transshipment ports. Your pricing, you have to keep your price very low. So then government, somebody has to offer subsidies or viability gap to infuse funds so as to do all the basic infrastructure. Here, if you look at Vizhinjam, government of Kerala, besides providing viability gap funding, is providing all sorts of investment for power, water, then the local land acquisition, the cost of breakwater is a funded work of the breakwater of the government of Kerala.
Right.
So, if you look at Vizhinjam, almost 67% of the investment is from the government. So government has stepped in to provide the basic infrastructure in order to bring in a port developer to develop the port and thereby create ambience or environment for industries to come in. That's how the government has done a proactive work in this area, in this direction.
I'm sure Kerala, if this port is there and if Kerala government is giving the ease to business environment, I'm sure it will be a very life-changing and game-changing situation for business tradies, people who are trading international on the international water. How do you think, like Kerala already has a global recognition and well-connected seaport in Cochin and the largest international container transportation terminal in India? Can two seaports coexist in a small state like Kerala?
Very nice question. We used to get these sort of questions quite frequently. Yes, it's a fact that Cochin is well connected, globally recognized, and it's a class port serving the region and the vast hinterland. Yeah. However, if you look at the vessel sizes, 10 to 15 years back and now, it has the size of mother vessels, especially container transshipment vessels, are very large in size now.
Yeah.
Very difficult at Cochin port due to limitations of water depth. The international container transshipment terminal Vallapad, Cochin was conceived and developed. The mother vessels were the sizes up to 8,000 TEUs only, which require water depth in the port less than 14.5 meters.
Yeah.
Which the dredging at Cochin port was not techno-economically feasible.
Mm-hmm.
That was the difficulty in Cochin port to be a predominant player in the transshipment business right now. Right. So Vizhinjam gains significance because if you look at the world's largest container vessel plying in this part of the world, it is on the order of 24,000 TEUs, which require about 18 to 19 meters, 20 meters water depth, which is available at Vizhinjam. Mm-hmm. So that's the catch at Vizhinjam. So, of course, Vallapad or in Cochin port can also share the transshipment business depending upon the vessel sizes, besides being a good feeder. So, what I would like to say is both Vizhinjam and Cochin can coexist in a healthy manner. That's what I'd like to put it across.
Yeah, that's interesting to hear because I know it's already growing market and there is a huge requirement. I think India requires more and more connectivity, and which government of India is working very well. I know with the other private sectors and opening up to the private sectors are going to be very amazing to see the growth in this particular sector, I believe. So in historically, seaport in India have been developed and managed by the government of India. However, in recent year, a member of port have been developed by a private players and through in public-private partnership. The Vizhinjam Port is being established through a partnership with the Adani Group. Do you see this as a welcome shift in policy?
Definitely. See, in India, post-liberalization in the 1990s,
right.
the privatization program was flagged off in the year 1997. Since then, both the central and state governments have ventured into port development and operation on public-private partnership basis.
Right.
Those started with very small numbers. The Central Planning Commission has brought out guidelines and model concession agreements to suit the central government as well as the state government ports.
Right.
So, to follow suit, Government of Kerala, through a very transparent bidding process, selected a private developer, Adani Ports and Special Economic Zone, as the to develop the Vizhinjam Port on a public-private partnership. That is on a design, build, finance, operate, and transfer basis.
Right.
Concession agreement was signed with Adani, this particular group, which is underway. It is a welcome shift in the policy, I would say.
Right. So in industry development, Kerala has an image problem as not a very investor friendly state. So now that Adani, one of the India's most successful industrial group, is playing a role in the Vizhinjam Seaport and also in the management of Tiruvananthapuram Airport, can we say that these developments will help to create a brand Kerala itself?
Again, that is history. Kerala had an history of not investor friendly and all, but that is totally changed. Kerala is an investor friendly state. Government of Kerala has taken many earnest and proactive steps to improve the ease of doing business in the state.
Right.
And Government of Kerala has identified certain priority sectors in the state as the key drivers for the growth in the coming years. And development of ports is one of the priority sectors. The state has proposed schemes for subsidies, grants, and other softs to promote and encourage investments. Government of Vizhinjam Port also, as I mentioned earlier, Government of Kerala, along with the Government of India, has come out with a viability cap funding in the form of a grant to support the developer, Mr. Adani Vizhinjam Port Private Limited, to develop this port. So Kerala has transformed itself as an emerging destination for investment with its advantages of abundant skilled labor, excellent industrial infrastructure, and industrial-friendly roads. So certainly features and developments to help to create a new brand Kerala, which is in the offing, I believe.
Interesting. And I believe a lot of state government is working towards that, and it's kind of a healthy competition going on from the different state level to become better in their own criteria. Is it claimed that Vizhinjam Port can attract large share of the container transshipment traffic, which is now being diverted to Colombo, Singapore, and Dubai? It can also ensure that the badly needed economic development of India, other than opening up immense job opportunity. Can you elaborate on this?
Yeah. See, Vizhinjam Port, upon development, would be able to bring back a large share of the container transshipment traffic, which is now being handled at Colombo, Singapore, and Dubai, and other ports like Port Klang and all. So, unlike the transshipped cargo, at these ports being carried by feeder vessels to other ports in the country from other ports, cargo from Vizhinjam Port can be transported to several parts within the country by road and rail. So this will trigger economic development along these routes. That is one way of economic development. This transshipment, the port would open up new vistas for development, including large and medium industries coming up in the region.
Yeah.
Maritime cluster, shipbuilding and repairing, which is also being planned, cruise vessel operation, coastal shipping, bunkering, tourism, etc. So this all open up new areas for investment. Further, the government of Kerala is coming up with the outer area growth corridor consisting of an 80-kilometer a long road bypassing Thiruvananthapuram city, and with zones on different side on either side of the road for various developments for industries, recreational, commercial, educational zones like that. So all these put together is, if you look at, are going to propel the socio-economic growth of the not only the state but the whole of the country, one part of India.
Interesting. And it means, as you're suggesting, that is it gonna be like more of a what we call Sagarmala Road, or the road ring road which is gonna created? Will it connect the other part of the India?
Well, this particular road which I mentioned now, it's a state government project which is bypass Thiruvananthapuram city. But whereas government of India has planned a dedicated East Coast economic corridor from Vizag to Chennai and from Chennai to Tuticorin.
Wow.
So government of Kerala is planning to take up extending the road from Tuticorin to Vizhinjam, which will definitely be a Sagarmala or a stream which can propel the socio-economic growth along the coastal regions, be it East Coast or West Coast of the country.
Interesting. I mean, it's really gonna be an interesting shift of the business in and positioning ourselves in international market. You know, as I can see, it's a lot of things are happening, and what should know what we should explore more, and what should know where how India is getting ready for becoming, you know, really a good power player. I would say in the trade market. Do you think having that strategic location is going to actually shift towards more of an African market, and you know, will it be easy to transport to the European zone or Asian zone after all that completion of the project?
Yeah, definitely. Because if you look at the shipping lanes hugging Vizhinjam and as well as Colombo too, these shipping lanes carry 30% of the world cargo, which is actually from the European side, Suez Canal, through the Suez Canal route, from the Middle East side towards to the Far East, like China, Hong Kong, Japan, and so on and so forth. So we are definitely in the way forward to position India in the maritime map of the world and see how best we can, in fact, establish and improve the trade relations with other countries in terms of maritime trade. And definitely our foreign exchange earnings and the annual foreign trade also will definitely will grow exponentially, I would say.
Yeah, interesting.
Thank
you so much for joining it and explaining all that. I'm sure there will be a huge excitement about that. People are actually looking up to that area of, you know, I know Chennai has been a financial hub, and this is gonna be a really, you know, whole shipping ease of business and all that is gonna change a whole demographic of India, especially South India. It's so much needed at this space. Thank you so much. But before you go, I would like to ask you one last question. What would you like to say the people, younger generation wants to join this at this stage and start their career and follow your path?
See, I would simply put it like this. If you look at the earth, about 76%, I would say, is covered by water. Mm-hmm. The land is only 25%. Right. And we have almost harnessed the land area. So it's high time that we attack the oceans. So definitely maritime sector gives a lot of opportunity, not only in terms of the interface development, but also developing offshore islands, on mining, and now for energy supplies, oceans, we'll have to depend on the oceans for looking at carbon neutral energy, setting aside the fossil fuels and things like that. So definitely it's a way forward, and there are exciting opportunities waiting for younger generations to look at into the maritime sector. So I would like to urge the younger generation, people to look at opportunities in the maritime sector, take up courses in the maritime sector to excel their career, knowledge, and expand their knowledge, and to work in this particular field, which is quite exciting, and a lot of opportunities are awaiting.
Yeah, and I can see that, if education and government of India will advertise towards there, we can generate more than IT people in this area. We have a huge scope coming up, isn't it? So thank you so much for joining in. It was
Thank you
pleasure
so
talking
much.
to you.
Thank you, Priya, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already done it. To know more about us, visit www.corporality.global. And also, you can find more about Priya Mishra is on priya.sydney.